Can a 3D printed guitar sound as good as the real thing? In about 5 minutes, we're going to find out. This is part 2 of this guitar build. In part 1, I showed you how the instrument was printed and assembled, and we heard that it is at least playable after a number of modifications. Now we're going to finally see if our 3D printed guitar can compete with the real thing live on stage. So tonight is a big test. The guitar sounded pretty good when it was tested in a quiet studio, but now we're jumping straight into the deep end and handing it over to a professional band who are going to play it for the first time live on stage tonight. The band that are going to test it out are one of the UK's top Arctic Monkeys tribute acts, Arctic Roll. Arctic Roll are an awesome group of guys who have a lot of fun at their shows, but they take their sound very seriously. Arctic Monkeys, particularly with their earlier stuff, have a very guitar heavy sound, and playing some of their hits would be a test for any guitar, let alone one I made out of plastic in my garage. This guitar might be playable, but if it can't create the right sound that the guys need, then I imagine it will get dropped pretty quickly. Oh my god. I'm literally just packing up for tonight, and I thought I better pack a strap in case they don't have a spare, and look. That is some serious neck dive, and basically means the guitar's not playable standing up. Not like I can ask them to rock out sitting down, is it? I never even thought about that. Okay, what can I do in like 2 hours? Jesus. I decided that all I really had time for was one shot at an add-on section that would allow the strap to be mounted further out and hopefully balance things a bit better. With a very quick screw-on section drawn up and sent to the printer, all I can do now is hope that it turns out okay and it makes the guitar playable. That's better. Right, I'm late. Yeah. As I explained at the beginning of the first video, the reason I wanted to make this guitar was to show what's now possible with home 3D printers, and hopefully inspire some of you to take on that difficult project that you might have been thinking about for a while. If this 3D printed guitar can hold its own live on stage tonight, then it will prove that home 3D printers are useful for more than just making plastic toys and trinkets. If it doesn't sound good, then it's not only going to be embarrassing, but it's not going to inspire anyone to take on difficult projects like this in the future, which would mean that the whole thing has been a failure. I can't wait to hear what it sounds like, but I'm so nervous. Right, we've just arrived, the band are already playing and we've missed the sound check, but they have said they will still play it for us. They are taking a big risk here though, playing it for the first time in front of all these people. If it doesn't sound good, this is going to be a disaster. During a quick break, I was able to present my 3D printed guitar to Kane, one of the Rolls guitarists, who had originally agreed to play it for us. So what do you think?
Oh, I don't know. It looks like it's something that you'd find in the Argos catalogue, you know. Yeah. The first guitar you buy your kid when you're starting out, and if it gets dropped, it's not a big deal.
Will you play it though?
We'll give it a go. Yeah, we'll give it a go.
And if it doesn't sound good?
It's going out the window.
Fair enough. Well, that was pretty brutal. Only one thing left. It's time to hear what it sounds like.
How good's that for plastic guitar? How good's that? Arabella's got some little alligator boots, and a helter skelter and a little finger and a riding in the loose. He's got a bottle and a silver swimsuit. And when she eats the shelter from the island sea, she takes a trip in my day. Sing it! My things and best when the sunset gets itself. That little lady sitting on the blessing. It's much less dangerous when I'm catching the light. The horizon tries, but it's just not a scan of the now goes that guitar. So remember that little guitar we spoke about? There it is. Let's go.
Well, I thought that sounded amazing, but my opinion doesn't matter. I caught up with Kane again after he'd played the guitar to get some more brutally honest critique.
So, what did you think?
Absolutely blown away, mate. Yeah, absolutely held up to my very high standards. It's a cracking little guitar. Didn't need anything, no settings adjusted on the pedal board, anything on the amp. It was just plug in and play.
So how did it match the Arctic Monkey sound that you were after?
It's definitely there. With the songs that we did play, I specifically chose to kind of really what I thought would bring out the best in the guitar, and it certainly held up to that. I've got a very expensive guitar that, you know, that stands up quite well to. So yeah, I'd say it's done a very good job.
Would you recommend that anybody who's got a 3D printer and likes guitars, 3D print their own guitar?
Well, I know how much effort goes into building a guitar out of wood, so I can only imagine the effort that goes into printing one. I'd highly recommend it if they turn out like this. You know, I imagine a lot of hours have gone into it, a lot of headaches building it. As it is with a lot of guitar building, yeah, it's definitely worth giving it a crack. It's a different twist on a relatively samey kind of market at the moment, you know, so we need stuff like this out there.
But maybe we'll make it look a little bit less like a toy. Last question, would you say I've succeeded in making a high quality instrument?
I would say so. For me, the important thing about playing an instrument on stage is obviously the tuning stability and the playability, and it stood up to all of that. The solos that I played tonight, quite a few bends on the strings, you know, there's nothing that was All the intonation was beautiful, it stayed in tune. I think you've done a cracking job, mate, and I'll be very interested to see what you build in the future.
Excellent. Thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate what you've done.
So there we go. It works. Not only does it work, it's pretty flipping good too. Let's not forget that this guitar is made from plastic at home with basic tools and components. F3DM obviously supplied the filament for this particular project, but if I include the cost of filament, then the total cost was only £165, including buying the original files, which is just about $200 US. That is astounding value when you consider what a comparable quality pre-manufactured guitar would cost. And the beauty of 3D printing is that you can print this exact same guitar on your 3D printer, which is why in the description below you'll find links to all of the components that I've used, along with my modified files, which you can get for free. A big reason why I started this channel was to inspire and help people create for themselves. And my hope is that this is what you take from this project. Did it go smoothly? No. Were there problems to overcome? Absolutely. And was it worth it? Definitely. Yeah, owning a cool guitar is nice, but being able to hand an instrument to somebody who can really play and say, I made this, is an amazing feeling, especially when they then tell you how much they like playing it. On that note, I want to say thank you to everyone who has made these videos possible. Firstly, I couldn't have done this project without F3DM, not only because they supplied the filament, but they also encouraged me to take on something so ambitious. Remember to check out the links and discounts in the description to get your UZY filament at a bargain price. I also have to thank Ben and Arctic Roll, the musicians who put my guitar to the test and gave me such great feedback on how to improve it. Also thanks to Peppercorns Academy for helping make some of those connections. You'll find links to all of the socials and websites for everyone who helped me out in this video in the description below, so check them out and show them some love. I can highly recommend Peppercorns for music tuition, and why not book Arctic Roll for your next big celebration? I loved the whole process of making this guitar and having it tested so publicly. The fact that it turned out so well is great, but more than anything, it reminded me of why I started doing this in the first place. I believe that all of us can do some pretty astonishing things with a little effort and some faith in our own ability. If you're on the fence about starting a project that seems like it might be a bit too challenging, I say go for it. Sure, it might not work out, but you always learn something, and you might just surprise yourself by what you can do. Let me know if you like this video by hitting the like button, or even better, leave me a comment below to let me know what you think, especially if you've been inspired to take on your own project. Nothing would make me happier than knowing that you've been inspired to create something after watching one of my videos. Do you want to see more of this kind of thing, or would you rather I just got back to 3D printer guides and reviews? Either way, think about checking out some of my other videos if you've got any interest in 3D printing, and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on what comes next. Click over here for a couple of videos that you might like if you like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.